Dear migrants coming to the United Kingdom, you need to understand something. If you're coming in a health and care visa or a skilled worker visa in the healthcare sector, now there is a process. For other sectors, it might not take that long. But for the healthcare sector, if you're coming in as a carer, whatever the case may be, a lab scientist, whatever you are, radiologist, know that there is a process that must be followed. Now, when you come in, you go to your company, you submit your documents. Now, what will happen is they will do a DBS check for you. That's disclosure barring service. So now with this check, they need to be sure that you do not have any criminal records in the UK, because I know obviously you'd have come in with a police clearance from your country, but that's your country. They need to be sure that you've not come to the UK some years ago, committed a crime and left. They need to do all these checks, and these checks take time. For some people, it's 3 weeks. For other people, it could take up to a month. For some people, it could even take up to 2 months, because as a government, you can't actually, tell them how to do it faster. They do it, they take their time, and then they give it out, to you. Because what happens is the companies, it depends. The company could pay for it, you could pay for it, whatever the case may be. The check needs to be done. So now after your DBS, that's when the training starts, because that's what tells the company that, you actually fit in it. Because they cannot just start doing training. What if you're not fit enough? What if you have a criminal record? They can't just employ you for the healthcare business. It's very, very delicate. So after you're done with the DBS, that's when the training starts. Now the training, for some people, it could be a couple of days. For some people, it could take, weeks, because it depends on the employer and the kind of trainings they want you to do. Some employers will say you do an online training. For some, they need you to do a face-to-face training, especially because you're just coming from abroad. So they need to be sure that you understand the ropes, because the UK law is very different from other places. So yeah, you might have been in the healthcare business. You might even be a nurse, in Nigeria or in Ghana or in India, coming to the UK as a carer. So you might say, oh, but I'm overqualified. No, in the UK, it's different here. So you need to understand how the process is actually work here. And these things take time. So let's say your training takes maybe another 1 week or thereabout, and then there's induction, there's shadowing as well, where the company will actually rub you in and tell you how they do things. So even if you do have experience, they need to do shadowing where you're actually going with another, one of their employees, or maybe 2 other people. Do you get just to do the shadowing to see how the system works here in the UK? Because remember, you're coming from abroad. Even those that actually get the visa, even here in the UK, if you're going to another employer, you have to do shadowing, not to talk more of you from abroad. So that's another process. Now, these things are taking time. All the things I've said, it could be a month, it could be up to 3 months, but be aware that you do not just come in today and start working tomorrow in the healthcare sector. Other sectors, probably a week, engineers and all that, it will take maybe a week for them to just get your checks, because it's not every company that does DBS. But if you're coming for healthcare, DBS is important, so they are sure that there's no criminal records that would actually stop you from working with people. These are vulnerable people. So know that the process must be followed. I know a lot of you want to come in, just want to start working. It's not a bad thing, but please be aware that the company, your employers would, actually follow this process. So come in prepared, come in with enough money that will last you within 1 to 3 months, so you don't bug your employer.